Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, how was your weekend?
It was all right. How was yours?
It was good. Weddings. Well, actually, it wasn't even a wedding. It was a family reunion in Rockland at a seniors residence. It was actually real. It was a lot of fun. It was older people. It wasn't your wedding crowd. And Sheldon played all kinds of music, like the older stuff that I'd
Oh,
never
yeah.
played before. And these everybody was dancing all night. So there was a few
Oh,
younger, yeah, there was more like, at least 40 and up. And then there was a few like, 20-year-olds too. And I was laughing because the 20-year-olds laughed and the older people kept partying, the heart
yeah.
going. It was actually really nice. So, and in a completely different location, hours drive from here. But I just wanted to, before we start our show today, because I know we're going to have lots to talk about, probably won't get to the events at the end. And talking about Rockland, there is a great Business Sisters conference going on there on November the 3rd. And we're hoping to get Doreen Ashton Wagner of Business Sisters on the show to talk about it, but she wasn't able to attend. So she did send a little blurb, and I'm going to quickly read it because I know
Okay.
once we were talking to our guest, we
Yeah.
won't have time. So Doreen wrote, calling all women entrepreneurs, mark your calendar for Monday, November 3rd. It's the Business Sisters Conference at the River Rock Inn in Rockland. This is the annual gathering for rural women in business across Eastern Ontario, a full day of learning, inspiration, and connection. Hear from local trailblazers who are redefining success. Take part in practical workshops designed for small town realties, and network with over 100 fellow entrepreneurs, mentors, and advisors who truly get what it means to build a business outside the big city. Whether you're just starting out or scaling up, this event will leave you motivated and supported to take your next step. Don't wait. Tickets are going fast, so head to businesssisters.ca /en /events to see the full program and register today. The Business Sisters Conference, where women entrepreneurs grow stronger together. So you can check it out on their website, the Business Sisters website, or you can go to their Facebook page as well, because
Okay.
I'm sure there's information there. Do you want to quick?
Cool. I'm putting the link in
Yeah,
the
uh,
chat so they can
perfect.
see
I
it.
knew you were doing that. Yeah, it's an awesome event. I went last year. I covered it for the Seeker, and this year Julia is going to join me. So it's just
Yes.
a really nice day to connect with other women entrepreneurs, because sometimes I think sometimes we need that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like it's always, I attended my first trade show since COVID, pre
Mhm.
COVID,
Yeah.
last week. And I didn't quite realize how much I missed it until I was in the show just doing my thing, right? Like it was
Yep.
nice to be with other business entrepreneurs and
Yep.
just connecting and just networking. I hadn't done that in ages, so it was nice
I know.
to do it. Yeah,
I know. I know COVID changed so much and changed the
it
way we
did.
do things, right? It kind of gets everybody sitting in their own little offices and
Yeah.
doing Zoom
It
meetings.
it
And
it made everybody antisocial.
it did. It did. And you know what? A lot of the meetings I attend are still Zoom meetings. There's very few in person.
Mhm.
People got used to doing
Yeah,
that.
I have a Zoom board meeting this morning because
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows, but this there's a new Optimist Club that got built out of Stormont. It's called the Stormont Community Optimist Club, and I'm so happy and proud to be part of that. So we have our first meeting tonight. So yeah, our first.
Yeah, somebody had asked me actually. I was at the Chamber Awards on Friday covering that.
Okay.
What a wonderful event. And somebody had brought up the fact that there's a new Optimist Club. in
Yeah.
South Stormont and asked if you were part of it. And I said,
Okay.
I don't really know. I know she's lately taken on a few more
A
extra
few
things.
I'm
Yeah,
wearing a few new hats that, um
yeah,
I was sitting last week cuz this is all starting, right? Like I'm just now on the board of the South Stormont Chamber of Commerce, and
yeah,
of course, like I'm on the board of the NDP association, and then I took on this optimist thing, and I'm sitting in my office, and I'm looking at everything that I got to do, and I'm like, oh my god, what have I done? Like,
yep.
I done. And but I'm happy to be part of all this. It's important work, and I think it's rewarding work, and yeah, never mind, my to-do list is never gonna it's winning. Like I messaged my lease yesterday, and she's like, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm playing catch up, and my to-do list is winning. But it is what it is. But anyways, my lease, I'm gonna let you introduce our guest today. It's take two, and finally today it's working, so we're good.
Oh, before we introduce her, I do want to send my condolences to George Varnavas' family. George of Harvest sadly passed this past Saturday. And when Linda messaged me and gave me the news, it just threw me for a loop because George, even though he was only a few years older than me, was always like a second fatherly figure. It was crazy.
Mhm.
You always meet up with him. He asks how everything's going, gives you all kinds of fatherly advice. And then suddenly Christmas, I was so happy last Christmas that he agreed to come on the Christmas cover for Harvest. At first, it took a bit of convincing, and then when Linda grabbed her Santa hat, George grabbed his and said, "Okay, let's go." And I know Linda was happy too because George had been diagnosed with leukemia, and she was happy too to have him on the cover. He looks wonderful. And then
Yes.
sadly, last like Saturday, he passed. He'd been struggling with his health, and we were hoping he was getting better. I visited him on the 4th of September, saying to Linda, "Oh, we'll just go over for 10 minutes." An hour and so later, George was still chatting, giving
Mhm.
lots of advice as always. And then, sadly, in the last few days, Linda said he went downhill very fast. So, RIP George, and I know he's on
Yeah.
his way to the other side, just chatting up a storm with everybody, catching up. But it made me think, Julia, we spend so much of our time working, 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 like you do, like you were just saying, sitting on boards and this and that. And then all of a sudden, George's words to me when he first got sick were, I spent so many years building up my little empire, and now what?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's he was almost going to be 71 and he didn't get to enjoy it like he should have.
Yeah.
It's
But
crazy.
make no mistake, my Lisa, I devote a lot of time to my family as well.
Yes.
And to, like, I try to have a balance, right? I work a
Yep.
lot, yes, but the weekends are mine and sacred, and I spend them with my family. And I do a lot of traveling. So yeah, I try to enjoy my time here because it's so short, right?
It
Like,
is. It
time
is.
on earth is so short, so very short.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
what I've been doing too. I mean, yes, people say too, like you work on weekends. I made a lot of great people as I work with Sheldon on weekends. But yeah, I've been doing the balance too because my mom's aging too, so I spend as much time as I can with her and my family and chat with my kids every single day, even though they're in Calgary. So
yeah,
it's important to
it is.
savor every minute of every day because none of us know when that time is coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, on that
All right.
note,
On that note,
let's have a little clip to
Good
brighten up our
morning
morning.
from Muddy Toes Organics.
we're gonna
I think it's time for another dance. I've had lots of requests, so let's start this day off right.
Got those sunflower pants. Let's stare dance.
And this is Edna. Good morning.
So our dancing queen
Morning.
in the sunflower pants is Edna Sinclair of the Real Muddy Toes Organics. Oh my God, Edna, when that came on Saturday, I was just smiling from ear to ear. You didn't have a good morning because I had found out about George Varnava's passing, but then you come on, and it doesn't matter what kind of a day someone's having. When you see you dance, it just is so, it makes you so happy.
It's infectious. You just want to join in. Like it's
I figure I'll start incorporating some moves, for to stretch out the arms
Yeah.
or stretch out the
yeah.
legs or strengthen the back or
So
yeah, it started
everybody,
it started as a little thing to uplift people's moods. I'm
yeah.
from the Maritimes and I have a cousin in the Maritimes, Tanya, that I absolutely adore. And both of our moms have passed. They were sisters, and we don't get to see each other very often. So we do this dance thing back and forth. She dances on the beaches in PEI and St. John, and then I dance at my farm and at the cottage and whatever. And it it started out just to cheer each other up. And I dance in the snow and in the rain, and it's
Mhm.
it's fun. Like it's and it makes my heart really happy that it cheers other people up because we need more of that in the world.
Absolutely. Like, you're
Well,
can you imagine like you're looking at your Facebook timeline or whatnot, and it's full of bad shit, right? It's
yeah.
full of bad news and everything that's happening in the world. And then here comes Edna. And it's like, oh yeah, this is great.
Thank you,
What a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, that
thank
was
you.
awesome. And the fact that you're wearing your sunflower pants, I mean that just tops it all. Julie and I are big sunflower fans. So,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
sunflowers make you smile. They're just a happy flower. So,
Yeah,
so
soon it's gonna be my Halloween pants.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh
Because
yeah. So
orange is my favorite color, so I have these bright orange pants. I think they either have black pumpkins or black cats on them or something, but
so
and
you're
it's a
like me.
onesie. It's a onesie, so it's very
Oh my
fun.
Okay.
God, and so you're like me actually, because I have theme leggingses. I have the Christmas ones, I have the Halloween ones, I even have St. Patrick's ones I found.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, I love doing the leggings thing. But we didn't formally introduce you. So this is Edna Sinclair of the Muddy
Mhm.
Toe Organics. And she joined us a few months ago to talk about very interesting thing, like your edible weeds. So we thought, you know what? A few weeks ago, I was looking at the weather outside. It was dreary, it was raining, it was fall, and I thought, what about, oh my God, look at her
Look
dog.
at the dog.
Just a cutie.
Oh
We should
yeah,
be
she's
talking,
like I gotta go sit beside grandma.
oh my God. So I said we should have a little chat about fall preparedness, like fall cleanup and winter preparedness. And who better to discuss that than Edna Sinclair? So I called her up and she agreed to come on. So here's Edna, and we're going to talk about that subject. My main concern was people are raking up all their leaves right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a good thing to do. Yes, it cleans up your yard, but what about all the little animals living in there? What happens to them?
Yeah, it's I've done research over the years. I was always I mean, I joke with people because my oldest daughter was born in '81, and like when she went into school, we were like around the Green Bank, Woodruff area in Ottawa, and I was one of those moms that sewed cotton bags so that kids didn't carry their shoes in plastic bags, and we had a compost pile in the schoolyard and gardens and stuff way before it kind of became more mainstream in some ways.
Mhm.
And So to me, it's like I was always kind of anti, and I get it if people want nice, pristine lawns and all that, but it people I don't know if they fully realize how much harm it does to our environment, to our drinking water, and to all the insects that we need to pollinate or fertilize or aerate our soils and stuff like that, and the birds and the other animals that count on eating those insects and things. Because if we kill them all, then it's like everything. It kind of goes upstream. It's like if we pollute our earth and then we feed, the cattle and the chickens and the whatever feed from the polluted earth, then we're eating that meat. Then we're gonna get those chemicals in
Yeah.
our bodies, and that would be another great whole talk. But and I
Hmm.
know for some people it's more controversial, but there is a lot of the proof out there that what we're doing and slowly killing the earth by all the pollution and chemicals. So a lot of the lawn companies and people who want pristine yards don't want the leaves on there because aesthetically maybe it doesn't look as nice. I think it's pretty. Um, and they think it smothers or kills their grass. So to me, then I would say to them, put your mulcher on your lawnmower, drive over and let it mulch. It becomes a natural fertilizer and it still stays there. And we leave a lot of ours. And I also go around, as do some of my other farmer friends who are more ecological, and pick up, people who put all their leaves in the Halloween bags and that. I'll do a post like around Maxville or Monkland or Apple Hill, and I'll go around and pick up a whole bunch of those bags and bring them back to my farm. And I either compost or do a big pile. And it's a crazy, like, how many little critters live in there. So
Yeah.
I would say it doesn't hurt your grass. In fact, it's a natural free fertilizer. It helps to bring lots of beneficial insects into your yard. And I think it's important to leave them there if you can, and if you can't, mulch them. And I guess if you don't want to do any of those things and you're going to rake them up anyway, then find a local farm that will take them, because there's surely lots out there that are willing to take it. Even a lot of animals actually eat them.
Wow.
Cool.
You mean eat all the leaves?
Yeah, like I have some of the farms that I don't know. I feel like it's goats. I
Oh,
think
Okay.
it's goats and sheeps or something. And there's specific ones that they like, but you're not going to sort through your leaves. Like, like oak leaves. They really, really like the oak leaves. And
oh,
so you'll see posts happening right before Halloween and after Halloween. Because, like I said, a lot of people will fill all those yard bags and use it as
yep,
part of the Halloween decorations and stuff.
yep.
And farms will do posts either to do it for composting or as part of their feed to some of their livestock.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of other things I wanted to ask you about. What
Yeah.
kind now, I mean, do you have a lot of annuals? I used to have perennials. I'm just not making the beds anymore. But I have annuals like geraniums. So we had a frost warning a little while ago. I bought all my hibiscus trees and everything in, and I bought all my geraniums in too. But so I've got them all in pots all around me, but can we keep those over the winter in the house? Or is there anything I should do to the geraniums to make them last
Um,
longer?
I would say, like, to keep them healthy,
Mm-hmm.
I would fertilize them a little bit. And if they look like they're kind of failing to thrive,
Mm-hmm.
what I've done before is I take them out of the soil, and put them like in a little bit of straw or something that's moist but not wet, and in a paper bag. And then you can hang them like down if you have a basement or a dark closet or whatever, and let them go
Mm-hmm.
dormant. And then
Oh.
maybe check on them every couple of weeks or a month, like put a note in your phone or computer or whatever, just to check that the roots don't dry out. As long as the roots stay, they don't have to be wet, but just not like bone dry.
Mm-hmm.
So any of those things that need to kind of hibernate during the winter, that's what I would do. Some plants will grow year round. So if you Google and see which plants grow year round in other
Mm-hmm.
countries, so
Mm-hmm.
say lemongrass, or lemon verbena. It's a tropical. It doesn't grow here, but it grows in places like, India and the
Mhm.
tropics and stuff. And it gets quite big and it grows there year round. So you can grow it here year round. I would say to people, I would take it out of, if you don't want bugs to come into your house, take it out of the dirt that you have it in. Take your hose and gently remove all the dirt from around the roots, clean it all down, and then repot it in new sterilized soil.
Okay.
Bring it into your house. It needs to be in a window where you're going to get at least 6 hours of light.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be full sun, but light. And then don't overwater. People tend to overwater. So even if you have a tray with saucer, like with the saucer underneath, you can always put water in the saucer. And then when the saucer's dry, you just put more in. The plant will only take what it needs.
Okay, but geraniums, like I was just gonna leave them in the pots with the soil in the window. Should I
And I've
do
seen
that?
I've seen people do that. Sometimes they get too leggy,
Okay.
like because they'll be reaching towards the sun or whatever. But again, then you could just trim them,
Okay.
And like I said, if they look like they're not doing well, then I would just put them to bed for the winter. Like when they look like they're not gonna produce for you. But I think as long as you feed them a little bit,
It should be
like
okay.
yeah. And the main thing is just to make sure you're not bringing all the buggies inside
I never,
and stuff
never
like that in
even
the soil.
never even thought of that thing. Because right now we've got infestations of those ladybugs, the orange ladybugs that bite. I don't know if
Oh,
Yes.
anybody else has got
Yeah.
them.
The Asian beetles. Yeah. They're a pain. Well, I mean, you could see all over, if you could see them all
Yeah.
over the wall here, but those aren't the Asian ones. These ones
those
don't
are the
bite.
box
Yeah.
elder bugs. So
Oh,
I was infested with these guys, infested with them, like to a point where I had to have somebody come and spray because
mm,
it was too much. Like
Yeah.
millions of bugs on my on and they were coming inside. Like so
Yes. Well,
I don't
yeah,
like
these,
doing that, but
no, me neither. Like these guys, the
yeah.
Asian lily bugs,
Yeah.
all of my window seals, I don't know how they get inside all my windows, but we have to vacuum them up even numerous times in the winter,
yeah,
because there's so many there. And it,
yeah.
it makes you feel a little bit dirty. Like if somebody came in and was using your washroom and looked out the window or wanted to crack the window
It's
a
like
bit or whatever,
yeah,
that they would just be full of like hundreds of dead lilies, like lily bugs, like.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're probably attracted to certain colors. And this is the
My
south
house
side.
is red. My house
Yeah.
is red, and
Yeah.
And
that's what it is. It was
yeah.
like everywhere,
And
man.
this is I'm in the south right now, the south side of my property. And so they like the heat. So we're gonna see a lot
Oh,
more of them because and it's the same with like wasps and stuff. They're more active in the daytime and
yeah.
especially
Mhm,
when it's really sunny.
Yeah.
mhm.
And if you leave anything, a can of pop, a beer, anything with any
Oh,
kind of
that's it.
sugar, an
Yeah.
apple, they're there. I have to be
Yeah.
careful now when I'm picking my apples in the orchard because the wasps will actually make a little tiny hole and
In
go
the apple?
inside in the apple, and they
Yikes.
go inside and they eat the apple from the inside out.
Oh,
So
Oh
you
wow.
my
don't see
gosh.
them. So if you don't notice that
Oh
little
my
hole, you could
God.
bite in and you would get a wasp in your mouth
Oh,
or whatever.
yikes.
And they literally hollow the apple. All that's left is the
Oh,
skin of the apple and it's hollow. And when you look inside, you're like, and if it's because I had some apples on my deck because I was making apple cider vinegar, and I came out and I thought, oh, what's all that sawdust around my apples? And it wasn't sawdust. It was them kind of tunneling through to get into the apple. But it's
oh
kind of
my
crazy
Isn't
because
that
God.
interesting?
yeah, but some insects do that to other insects as well. They're kind of like a parasite, and so they go inside the
Whoa.
insect and eat the insect from the inside out, which
Oh my.
is horrible, but it's like nature's pretty interesting how they do things.
Yeah, it is.
And
It
even
sure
here on
is.
our farm, like we have 25 beehives, and
Oh,
our caregivers, which is stewards, and they're amazing beekeepers. They take such good care of their bees, and they treat them almost like family. They will stop taking honey at a certain point in the season out of the hives to make sure the bees have enough to survive through the winter. So it's not
Mhm.
about
oh,
the bottom dollar, it's about keeping those bees alive who work all hard all spring and summer for them. And they came back to my farm after they left everything in there And they came to me and they said, "Oh, the wasps are such a problem this year. The wasps were actually going into the beehives and stealing all the honey from the bees. So they
Oh,
had to keep on going back and replenishing so the bees could get through So it's like I said, nature is pretty interesting how it does
yeah,
things.
absolutely.
Wow. So talking about, we kind of went off the subject
Yeah.
about
Can
cleaning
I
out.
can I can I ask a question? Because I do have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
So I have this little herb garden that I made. So I
Mhm.
have I have parsley, I have mint, I have rosemary, I have oregano, and basil. Uh, can I bring that inside for the
Yes,
winter?
all of those. And it's funny because Phyllis, who watches your show a lot, and she wasn't able to watch it last week, which of course it didn't happen. She had sent you guys, I think, a question to ask, which was about which herbs can you bring inside and grow successfully over the winter.
Oh,
So,
Oh, you're breaking up.
um,
oh,
are we getting a little bit of static, or I don't know if this can hear you?
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
staticky.
Let me see if I can move if it changes.
oh,
My Wi-Fi is full here, but basil, chives, lettuce, mint, oregano.
oh no, still breaking up.
Oh, darn, we were doing so good.
Oh, I'm like, where
It was doing so well.
is that?
Do you
Oh,
wanna
My end, or
do you wanna get out and try to get back in? See if
sure,
it
I can do
works
that.
or if it resets the connection?
Yeah. You know what?
Okay,
Maybe it's because my phone was too hot in the sun. Is it better now?
I didn't
no,
hear that.
Okay, I'll go out and come
you,
back in.
okay.
Okay. Oh,
Oh my
just as
God.
I was getting answer to my question.
No,
Darn it.
I'm sure she'll be back. And that's what happened last week, guys. We couldn't get her in because it just
Well, it
wasn't
was worse than
happening.
that. There was like no video at all, no
No,
audio at all. It was like really bad.
well,
But
we had a black screen with her name on it.
yeah,
And
that's pretty much
we
it.
tried, but because again, I'm out in around Martintown. You're in Cornwall,
Okay,
Julia.
let's see.
Edna's around Apple Hill, so hopefully she can come back. Oh,
No,
You know what? I'm gonna
still
try.
not working.
I think it might be because my phone is
oh,
too hot.
Because what?
phone is too hot. She's
What the
sitting outside, and it's
the phone is too hot.
Oh,
So I'm gonna just see. I put something
and
cool
it's
behind it, so I'm just gonna see if the static goes away.
it's a little better.
a little better. Yeah, look at, I mean, we're in our offices, and Edna's on a beach somewhere in the sun. No, she's actually in Apple Hill on her farm. But what freaky weather. Here we are last week bringing in our plants because we had a frost warning, and now we've got a second summer
It's
heat
like
wave.
82 today. It's like crazy.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna try my other phone because it's not hot.
Okay.
Okay,
Everybody's like,
you're
why do you have two phones? I'm like, well, one's my
She's got a
husband, but
burner.
he forgot. I was like, one's my husband, but he forgot to use it, or he's forgotten how to use it. So I said, I just use it if the other one runs out of steam or whatever. So let's see if
Right?
this one, and then if this
wow.
one is better. Is that one
Okay,
better?
let me hold up. Let me check. Okay.
Oops, I'm gonna leave this
Oh,
one.
perfect. Beautiful.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
That's better, right? There we go.
Okay.
Okay,
Yay.
I'll keep
back
that at
to
the back.
So
back to
herbs.
Julia.
So yeah, so those herbs you could bring in. The only one, depending how big your little garden is, that's sometimes tricky to grow inside, and more because it's like lavender where it doesn't like to be too wet, but you can't let
Oh,
it dry out 100% is rosemary.
Okay.
All of those ones that you named, they're fairly easy to grow inside in the wintertime. Just keep on trimming them up. Don't overwater. 6 hours of light. People can even grow little patio tomatoes inside and grow their own little cherry tomatoes
oh,
and
Oh,
stuff.
I have a little cherry tomato plant. I can bring that in too.
Yeah, bring it in. Yeah,
Woo!
yeah. As long as it gets enough sun, and like I said, You can even do a natural fertilizer. A really inexpensive one to do is either this time of the year go and cut down all your old nettle and stuff, stinging nettle in your yard or in a field
Oh,
by, and kind of brew it as a strong tea, and then strain all the leaves out and then let it cool down and keep it in a jar. And it's an amazing plant fertilizer. And it's
Really?
free and
wow.
it's full of lots of minerals, like all iron and magnesium and copper and selenase. And so lots of really good stuff in there. And
How
Damn,
much?
that looks
we,
like it
How
could
much?
be good for us too.
yeah,
How much of that should you like the leaves of the nettle leaves? How much do you put in your plant at a time?
uh, well, what I would do is I would brew like a strong, like, take a big pot on the stove or whatever and cut a whole bunch of it. And a lot of people, like, if you don't want to brew it in your house, if you have, like, I don't know, like a 1 gallon or a 5 gallon pail, put a whole bunch of it in there, pour the water in it, and let it sit out there, like steep for 2 or 3 weeks. It actually
Oh,
gets quite stinky. It's sometimes even smellier than manure, but
Oh
oh,
well.
different in a different kind of way. But and then you just bottle it up and use it. I would use it how you would use any other liquid fertilizer. Like,
oh,
you could dilute it. It's not going to hurt if you put too much because there's nothing in it like manure that would burn your stuff or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
probably in a water bottle. Like, so say if you make a strong tea, maybe dilute it in the bottle 50-50, depending how strong your tea brew is. You
oh.
and then just water it. And I don't think you could over fertilize it with that. But I mean,
Huh.
you would see signs because if your plants get too many minerals or whatever, I think the leaves start to yellow a little bit.
Okay.
Burn it.
And when you say
Oh,
6 hours of sunlight, does that mean like direct sunlight? Like, does it have to be?
No, it doesn't have to be direct as long as there's like some good light coming in. Because some people have a really, really bright living room, but they don't have room in front of the window or whatever. But there's
Mm-hmm.
light coming into the room, then that's enough.
Okay.
hey.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna give it a try. So this year was the first time that I actually managed not to kill my garden because
Oh,
I am so bad. Like I kill everything. I ask my lease, I kill everything.
Yeah, that's
But
why I was like shocked.
this year I managed to actually have a few like cherry tomatoes and I had some herbs that were doing fairly well.
yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna bring them in and see if I can keep it going.
Oh, good. Well,
Wow.
here, and it's interesting that you survived everything this year because this year, as a grower, I felt was the most challenging because
Yeah.
we had a very wet, cold spring,
Yeah,
which for people who grow lavender was very devastating in this area. For
Mm-hmm.
some farms, if they have tile drain and stuff like that, they weren't affected as much. But here, like in North Stormont, we're on bedrock. We have lots of heavy
yeah,
clay wheels and stuff. So just
yeah,
growing lavender is a feat in itself. But this year with the wet spring and the long sitting water because the ground's still frozen, but we had so much rain, so it just kind of sat on top for a while and saturated. Well, the lavender
Mm-hmm.
brought and
Mm.
other plants like rosemary and stuff is also prone to that. And then, of course, with the drought. So with the
yeah,
drought, any of my fruit trees that were only maybe 2 or 3 years old in the ground, or my grapes and stuff, what a plant will do to protect itself. So if you get like a late frost, it will drop all of its flowers to protect the roots and the life of the tree or the bush. And then in the summer, if there's too much drought, it will then the biggest production goes into the fruit, so it will prematurely drop all the fruit. And then if that doesn't work to save the plant, it'll start dropping the leaves. So if you notice, like a lot of our trees, especially the maples and that, started dropping earlier this season than in
yeah,
seasons. And that was because of the drought. So the tree's trying to save its life by sacrificing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Because
Or-
the middle of August, our driveway looked like complete
yeah.
flop. The leaves were all gone. They were all on the
Really?
ground. Yeah, I got pictures middle of August. You'd think it was at the end of October. It
Yeah.
was
Wow.
We,
crazy.
Out of our 28 apple trees, we had 5 that produced.
Wow.
All the other ones dropped their apples.
Wow.
And
Talking about
that's
trees.
my favorite ones, the russets.
Oh, but
So,
talking about trees, Edna, I've noticed like even around the roads, all the pine trees are drying out.
yes.
Like they got really affected, obviously, by the dry weather because the pine trees are just like ours, they're just brown.
Well, and the sad thing is that the pine tree, a lot of what it is they have very shallow root systems. So the roots,
Oh,
uh, and they're not like other trees where they have that big long tap root that goes into the ground.
okay.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like with, I put in a whole bunch of hazelnut trees this year, and rose bushes and stuff to kind of plan for the next couple of years. And it was really hard to keep them alive. And it'll be interesting to see if they come back next year for me, if they're just not going to have enough energy to make it through the winter.
Oh my God.
So calling
I
farmer, it was really challenging. Even seeing all the cornfields, they're not
Yeah,
yellow color, they're brown.
yeah.
they are.
Oh,
They're
that
all burnt.
heat.
They look like they're burnt.
Yeah,
I have another question. I have a raspberry plant that's like in a pot as well. Should I take that and transplant it into the ground?
I would put it in the ground, and today or tomorrow would be awesome because tonight we have a full moon, and the full moon puts lots of energy out so that it gives energy to the plants. There's been studies on it or whatever for root growth and stuff like that.
Oh,
Uh, and we're supposed to get a bunch of rain tomorrow. Uh,
Okay.
the hard part is right now is because we still have about 6 apple trees that have to go in to replace the ones that died, and I still have about 6 or 8 hazelnut bushes, and I think 1 or 2 other like a pear tree and stuff. But for me, when I dig the holes, I have to dig like about a 2 to 3 foot hole, and then I have to go down, like a foot and a half to 2. Like I'm literally out there with an axe chiseling because it's like cement. The
yeah.
ground is so hard because we don't. So what I did was I pre-dug a bunch of the holes, and the plants are still being taken care of in big pots. And I'm hoping that the rain will saturate, but it'll also fill the hole with water, so
Yeah.
that when I put the plant in, there's a little bit of reserve in there for it.
Oh yeah.
So even if you
Yeah.
put a raspberry bush in, if you figure out where you want it to be, because raspberries will grow, what they'll do is they'll sprout babies.
Mm-hmm. They already have
Raspberries grow
in
on,
the pot.
yeah, and so they need to be in the ground, and then
So is it better to put it like near a fence or something? Like
um that will help to support them so that they don't fall over. Because if you see in professional like or farm raspberry fields, they run like T-bars with the
okay.
string, and it's basically to keep them standing straight, so that they don't flop over,
Mm.
and to keep them in rows. It's more
Okay.
aesthetics, but it also I think helps to keep some of the pests off because the fruit grows more at the top as opposed to,
Mm-hmm.
and so if
Okay.
the top is flopping over, then you're going to get more pests in your raspberries.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Oh,
Oh,
what
oh dear.
happened?
Where did she go?
Edna, where did you go? There she is. Okay.
You disappeared.
And then to help, always to help when you're planting stuff with a bit of root growth, especially this time of year, because you want to speed up the strength of the roots. If you have any dead stuff on your plants, trim any dead stuff because you don't
Okay.
keep on trying to make that come alive. It's dead. Just get rid of it, and then put a little bit of bone meal. And I've told people before a little trick: if you don't have bone meal and you have a willow tree, or a friend has a willow tree, or there's a willow tree in your neighborhood, again, you can get a bunch of leaves and make a really nice tea out of the leaves. Willow bark or willow leaves is a natural root hormone. And so if you water your plant with a bucket of the willow leaf tea,
Okay.
it helps to promote root growth because it's a natural hormone.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I don't know if this is true, but I've seen on Facebook that you can actually put beer on your plants. Like beer will help some of the plants too to come back. Is that true or is it just
I don't know. I've never tried that. I feel like it would attract a lot of wasps and stuff, but like
yeah.
the only thing I could think of is maybe the yeast and stuff. You know how they talk about mycelium in the ground, like all the little connectors that are in the ground that,
Yeah.
go till we disturb all that stuff. Maybe the yeast helps that or whatever, or the sugars. I'm
Yeah,
not.
they're saying when you're, especially when you're potting something, like repotting to do it. So I just wondered if it was something that would help or not. But we're talking about gardens and
Yeah.
everything. What about our bodies? Like how do we prepare our bodies for the winter?
Um, I would like to me. I think in the summer we tend to probably drink a little bit more than we do in the winter or whatever. We go to more barbecues. Although I think we're probably more active in the summer. But as we're going into winter, the season changes, and like a day like today, it's going to be like 30 plus. And it's fall, and so you're hot and you're sweating, but then it's going to drop down to like 15 at night. So then your body's like, what the heck? Now I need a sweater on. And so I think to build our immune system, so to start doing things that build our immune system and thinking about things like that. So things that build our immune system obviously is lots of vitamin C. You
Hmm.
can't really overdo it. It's a water soluble vitamin. Um, and when you're taking lots of vitamins, the main thing is to make sure you check if it's water soluble or fat soluble. Fat soluble gets stored. So, you know, you don't want to overdose on those. But that's why we have things like emergency in that, because it's vitamin C. If you take too much, the only thing you're really doing is losing the money you spent on it, because your body will just pee it out and it doesn't really do any harm. We make here at the farm, I studied herbology back when I was a teenager, and then I've been fortunate enough over the years to study with a couple of the greats. And one of the ones that I met and went and did some workshops in North Carolina was Rosemary Gladstar. And she made fire cider quite famous. And fire cider is a tonic that builds your immune system. That's made, it's probably made in different versions around the world with different ingredients. But here in North America, it's kind of after the fall harvest. So the main ingredients are like garlic, onion, horseradish. If you have things like leeks, herbs I would use in it would be like oregano, thyme, or rosemary. All of these things that I'm talking about are, for the most part, anti inflammatory, antiviral, um, antibacterial, antifungal. So they have these properties that they go into the body and clean it up a little bit and try to boost things. Um, and so, obviously, if you made a tonic with just those things, it would be pretty hard to take. So here I'm fortunate I have apple trees and I grow them all organically. So I cut up all my apples and make my own apple cider vinegar. That it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to brew. So I do that ahead of time. And then when it's ready, um, the apples go out and they get fed to the chickens or to other animals or go into the compost so nothing gets wasted. And then that's the base for my fire cider. The fire cider, you put all of those things, so all of the warming things in your garden. What makes it fire is if you add Thai peppers or jalapeno peppers, ghost
Right.
peppers. Be careful with the amount that you add. I don't tend to add a lot of those into mine, specifically because a lot of my clients are older and they find it too hard or it affects, like if they have reflux,
Yeah.
oh, I can't handle hot stuff anymore.
Yeah, that's
And
me.
those things, so then instead of that, you can add a couple of black peppercorns. Because what happens is peppers activate all the other stuff to make it more available to the body. So you want to have
Oh,
something of that in there. And then I also add in ginger and turmeric,
Mm.
which again are anti-inflammatory, and then to make it really palatable, um, I'll add in elderberries. You can add in cranberries, and then oranges or lemon slices.
hmm.
And that then all, so you fill your jar half full with all your chopped up stuff and then top it up with the apple cider vinegar. Um, it's a fermentation, so it's not canning, which means the lid has to be loose. You need to give it a little shake every day or two and then loosen the lid to kind of let the gases of the fermentation come off. And then after about 4 to 6 weeks, you strain it all off. And then if you want, you could do a second batch, but you're just going to brew it, maybe 8 to 12 weeks and get a second batch. It might not be as strong. Um, I find mine tastes a little bit like Worcestershire sauce. At
Oh,
least
geez.
wrong. Um, but it depends, like I said, how you put the ingredients. So when I do the workshops here, I just tell people, like, think about your flavors and your tastes and what you want more of. Some people, when they strain it off, will add honey into it,
Okay.
which is sweeter and way more flavorful, makes it taste more, like on a cough syrup kind of, you know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so doing things like that, like building your immunity, elderberry syrup is another one that's really good to build the immunity.
So what do? You take like a little bit every day?
You would take like a shot. Like a lot of the things that build your immunity, even like echinacea teas and stuff. I wouldn't take those daily, like for a long term period. But what
Right.
I say to people, if you know you're going to be traveling, maybe a week or two before to build up the immunity, if you work in an industry where you're around a lot of sick people, then you could probably do it more regularly and you can interchange them so that your body doesn't get used to one thing. So,
Yeah.
like if you drank echinacea tea maybe for a week, then you switched it to fire cider, you would take like a shot, like about an ounce. And if you really felt you were coming down to something, take it in the morning and then at night. Adding more garlic to your food, more onions to your food. You can even drink like oregano, like a lot of people take oregano oil.
I
So
do.
I
I
find,
swear by it.
yeah,
My
yeah.
kids think my kids think I'm crazy, you know, and they all get sick. And then I pop the oregano oil, and they're like, that's not true. Well, I'm like, I'm not sick.
Oh yeah,
You're
no,
all
it is. Yeah.
sick, but I'm not
if
sick.
I if I catch it, because I'm out in the public a lot, if I could feel in my body
Yep.
when I'm starting to get something, and if
Mhm.
I get it, like if I time it right,
Yep.
I would say 9.5 times out of 10 I will catch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like not catch it, like I will,
You'll
yeah,
suppress it. It
I'll
it
suppress
just
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's me too.
and
I'll feel the scratchy throat.
yeah,
I'll pop the oregano oil, and then poof, like that's it. I'm
yeah,
done.
and I
All
mean
my kids have
another
been
trick
sick
too. If
since
people don't,
they started school. All of
yeah.
them have been sick, and
So
I haven't.
even with kids, if they don't like those kinds of things, you could do something really simple like take a jar, take a whole bunch of sliced lemons or oranges, whichever flavor you think they're gonna like. Um, and chop it all up. Maybe put a bit of ginger in there, maybe a peppercorn or two. They won't see, and it really won't change the taste a lot. And maybe a couple drops of your oregano oil, or just even a sprig of the oregano. Fill it to the top with honey, and every day just kind of tip it over, and then they could take a teaspoon of that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh.
it coats the throat and it builds a little bit of immunity, because especially if you buy honey in your local area, because it feeds on all the pollen, all the weeds, all the things that sometimes cause us to react. And so it's kind of like homeopathy where you're treating like with like. Because I say to people, everybody went on this craze with noni berries and acai berries and all
Yeah.
of these things from other countries. Well, those other countries don't have the same stressors or the same pollutants or the same
That's a
plants
really good point. I
that
never looked
we
at it that
that we
way.
grow here. So I think what nature gives us in our yard is what we should be consuming to make our bodies stronger. I'm
So
not saying
Stewart's
the
honey,
animals are
people.
bad, but I think we have enough in our own backyard. We don't need to
Yeah.
go to tropical countries to find things. I mean, other than the oranges and the lemons,
Right.
Yeah.
but you get flavor also with apples. Um, uh, with peaches, pears, things that are just as sweet as the citrus stuff. It's just citrus has some other elements that are good in there.
Yeah.
And you can grow now here. You have to start it in your house earlier, but you can now grow in a pot like turmeric or ginger here. You get some organic roots. They just take 6 to 8 months to get to fruition, and our growing season, if we're lucky, is 5 or 6 months. So I say
Mm-hmm.
to people, start it in a pot indoors when you would start your seedlings. So maybe in March, and then when it does not handle any frost at all. So you can bring it kind of in and out, like during the warm weather, and then leave it out there for June, July, August. I have a little greenhouse, so it comes back in and out of the
Yeah.
greenhouse where I monitor the temperature. And I get a small little crop that's grown here and stuff like that. But I would say those kinds of things, if you want to do a little bit of a cleanse, um, to clean out all the stuff because we're going into a different season. We eat a lot more salads in the summer. In the winter, we tend to eat a lot more soups and warming things and stuff. I do a lot of things, like even for my husband, like hot toddies. So I'll squeeze a whole bunch of fresh lemons and I'll grate some ginger, throw a little bit of turmeric in there, and I heat it up on the stove. I let it cool enough so that when I add the honey, it doesn't kill the enzymes. And then if it's around bedtime, I throw a shot of brandy or Canadian whiskey in there, and it just warms your whole body. You have a really good night's sleep because sleep is important too. Like if you're feeling off, we run, 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 run. And,
Yeah.
as Julia was saying earlier about her to do list, I always say my to do list never gets to done. Like it
No, it
just,
doesn't.
so
Yeah.
I'm even going to make a t shirt, today my to do list needs to get to done. But it's, so any of those things that you can do to help you sleep better. We tend to not drink as much water in the winter,
Mhm.
because we just, we don't feel like we need it, but we still need it. It helps to flush everything out. Drinking things like cranberry tea, hibiscus tea, lemon teas, ginger, any of those things daily will make our bodies a bit stronger. Washing our hands. I say a lot of the things that not using too much hand sanitizer and thing, because, if you think about when we were kids, we played outside, we
Mhm.
ate mud pies. Uh, like our hands were always dirty. So our parents shot us outside in the
Well, you
morning.
build immunity that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't come back till dinner time. And now the kids, you see the kids pick up something outside and the parents are over there with the hand sanitizer, and nothing against that. But what you're doing is you're killing all the beneficial germs. And if you listen to a lot of these podcasts and doctors and stuff that are talking about a lot of the epidemics that are happening around the world with everything from ADD to autism to all of our different allergies, from celiac disease and the rise of all of these things, you could trace it all back to the fact that we're doing too many things to getting
Mhm.
all those beneficial germs out of our body. It's just like if you spray chemicals in your yard or in your garden, it doesn't just kill one thing, it kills all of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
If we do things like antibiotics and that, we should really only take those when we really, really need them.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
if it's life or death or whatever, because your body will get used to them and build up
Yep.
an intolerance.
Well,
And
it's
then when
it's a
you
real
really need it, it's
problem.
not.
It's a real problem now. They're getting
Yeah,
to a point where antibiotics don't work anymore because, when I was a kid, they pumped antibiotics with every little thing you had, you
every
Yeah.
know?
earache, toothache, everything. Yeah. And
Yep.
and unfortunately for the doctors, their hands are tied on a lot of things. They don't get a lot of time to talk to us in their office. They have to pump us in, pump us out. We have less doctors available to us. And parents sometimes go in there and they're like, no, my child's sick. I want it. When they don't know that there's other things that possibly could help. I,
Mhm.
I don't advocate against not listening to your doctor. I think we should always listen to our doctors. But I feel doctors feel almost pressured sometimes to leave you with a prescription in your hand,
Yeah.
or you don't feel that they're doing their job. My
Mhm.
doctors know me well enough. Like, don't give it to me unless I absolutely necessary. I know that I'm probably going to research it before I take it.
Yeah.
And not because I don't think that your knowledge is better than mine, but because I know my body and know all the things that I have. And if
Mhm.
you haven't had the time to read my whole file, you might give me something that may not agree. So I
Mhm.
think being an advocate for ourselves and for others helps a lot. Being
That's
an
a whole
advocate as
different
a parent.
topic of a show. We should do that sometime
Oh
because,
yeah,
yeah, I just
yeah.
wrote an article about it because I had two experiences with the health system where, I think we know our bodies more than our doctors, and our
Mhm.
doctors are not infallible. And sometimes, they're with you for 3 seconds when,
Yeah.
Yep.
you're living with yourself. So listen to your patients,
And they're humans. And if you look at, I mean, when we were younger, we went to the doctors. They took out the stethoscope. They
Yeah.
checked your throat, your ears. They looked in your eyes because you could see things in there. They, your throat. They listened to your lungs and your heart. They weighed you. They took your blood, like all the time, and they were looking at you all the time. How are you doing? How's your family? Like you had a
Yeah.
relationship with them. Now,
Yeah.
when you go in, your doctor barely looks up from their iPad because
Yeah.
everything gets done on their iPad. And which, again, I'm not shitting on doctors. I feel bad, like
No, no,
for the
no.
stress that they have.
It's the system we're in, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not their fault necessarily. Like they don't have the time. We have a
Yeah.
shortage of doctors. There's no
yeah,
Yeah.
doctors. They kind of pressure to in and out, in and out, in
Yeah.
yeah.
and out as quickly as possible.
They don't
So
even
it's
have the time take your blood pressure, check anything anymore.
No,
Like you said.
no. Like it's really, and I know that our time is getting short, so I'm just going to say a couple of other things that I put in my notes. So when
Okay.
you're doing your fall cleanup outside, there's a whole bunch of plants that you should wait and leave until they die down. So it's big things like peonies and lilies and stuff, you want them to die down a little bit before you trim them up, just like tulips and stuff in the spring, because the energy from the leaves has to die back into the bulb. And if you cut them too soon, you're going to affect your bloom next year.
Oh.
Any of your trees and stuff, again, cut off any dead foliage, but check for your specific flowering bushes. Like, say, for instance, lilacs, it's way too late. You have to trim them in the spring once they're done flowering because they flower on wood that's grown through the summer. Some hydrangeas can be trimmed now, but some have to wait to the winter. The same with the majority of your fruit trees. They need to be trimmed like late February, March season. But if you
Mm.
have dead branches or unhealthy branches, for sure, trim those now so that they're not putting energy into those things. And for our houses, we need to check things like screens, change your furnace filter,
Yeah.
check for leaks, where all the bugs, how the bugs are getting in. Um, check your water lines. Make sure to turn off your water to your outside hoses so that when the freeze is coming and that. And yeah, just try to have a positive attitude. And as I say, get out and grow and get out and dance.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
keep on
Get up.
watching Edna dance. That'll
I do want to mention something though with the drought that we've been having this summer. Like our pond, we have a pond in the back. Honestly, it's dropped like about 3, 4 feet right now. We've got
Oh
maybe four
yeah.
more feet, and it'll be completely dry. And we're not far from you, so it's all clay based out here. So I heard something really scary that someone was saying if we don't get enough rain before the ground freezes, there's going to be a serious problem with the water table in the spring. What's going to happen if we don't get rain soon? So I know our pond it looks awful. It's almost
Yeah.
half empty.
Well, because yeah, you need so many stores like down in the ground, like that it helps with the way that our roots, the root systems and everything, like
Yeah,
metabolize and stuff over the winter and stuff. And clay, well, like I said, it dries out like cement.
yeah,
So if it's cement, like nothing grows in cement. It
no,
grows in the cracks
yep,
between cement, but it doesn't grow in cement. So for sure that is alarming. And then, it affects all your amphibians, like all the aquatic life, like the little frogs and
yeah,
um, the little newts and stuff like that. A lot of the insects that they store their larvae in the ponds, like dragonflies and fireflies and stuff, because they all hibernate and have to go through the winter that way. And so all we can
oh,
do is just go get out, maybe do a lot of rain dances and just hope before
yeah.
the ground freezes up in November that we're going to get a lot of snowfall will help with that too.
Okay, good.
But yeah, so that's all we can hope for, I guess, because
yeah.
we can't
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen? We've actually got a snapping turtle that I don't even know if it's still in there, but when it was full, I was puttering along the edge of the pond one day and I look up and there's this little face looking right at me, a huge snapping turtle,
yeah.
quite old because it was full of moss and stuff. Who knows? Hopefully it's still in there. I don't know, but I mean,
Well, even me, all the pollinators this year, I had all around my yard, little containers with water. And for the bees, I'd put the stones in it so that they don't drown when they go in it and
yeah,
stuff like that. And it was crazy to me how many were looking for water.
Well,
How many ended
yesterday,
up at people's swimming pools and that, which unfortunately then they die
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
their water sources were drying up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had pots all over the backyard for the squirrels and the chipmunks and stuff. And yesterday I had one poor squirrel laying on the railing of the deck, like kind of laid out, huffing and puffing because it was again so hot. So I went and put water out for it. So it's crazy. It's not,
It's
we're not
it's
the
been
only
a
ones.
it's
Yeah,
been
we're
a
not
challenging
suffering
season for sure. And
for the
it's going to be
animals.
scary, I think, to see the prices
Go
it's
up.
already scary, the prices at the grocery
Yeah,
store, but
Yeah,
I
but
think a
next
lot of
year is gonna be.
farmers in Canada have lost a lot of their crops or their
yeah,
percentages are down.
yeah.
And it's like even for feed for livestock and that it's because I don't think it's just in Ontario. I think it's all across Canada that we've had this problem.
Mhm. Yeah. Well,
Well,
Edna, thank you so much for coming to talk to us today. Like I said, we already established a few topics that we could have you
yeah.
and talk
Yes.
about in the near future. I bid you a very, very beautiful day. Keep on dancing.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, ladies. It's
we're
been a
gonna have to,
pleasure. Thank you
we'll
for
have to
promoting
start that.
local.
Yep. Have a
Thanks a
good
lot,
day.
Edna.
Thank you.
Bye
Take care.
bye.
Bye.
We'll talk to you soon. She's always a pleasure to have on. She's so full of energy and motivation. So
Mm-hmm.
I love
Yep.
having her on.
Absolutely.
But I do want to kind of put a shout out for next week's show. It's going to be a very important show on the 13th, next Monday. We've got Sergeant Anderson from the Cornwall Police Service coming on talking about scams that are happening right now. Like, I don't know about you, but I mean, half the time I'm scared to even answer my phone because it's a phone call from God knows where. It's not even a local number. If it's Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, I just eliminate it. But because of our wedding service business, I can't ignore every phone call because it could be a
Right.
bride looking for pricing. And then I
Right.
pick it up and it's some kind of scam. So hang up right away.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of our time. And he's going to talk about scams that are happening right now, just so that we're aware of them.
Yep. Yep.
Scary.
So that's going to be an interesting show. Be sure to tune in. In the
Yep.
meantime, like I thank you very much for joining us today. Have yourself a great day.
And a super duper week. Bye for
Bye
now.
for now.